PlayStation has a massive library of games, which is great, but it also makes it overwhelming to pick the next best game to play. So to help you out, we have gathered 20 perfect 10 out of 10 games that are simply the best out there. From epic story-driven adventures to thrilling action-packed titles, there's something for everyone. With that said, hit the like button and let's get started with the first game on this list. Witcher 3. If there's one game that deserves to be called a masterpiece on both PS4 and PS5, it's The Witcher 3. This title is an absolute gem in pretty much every single way. If you are looking for a gripping story, it will give one. If you are a fan of intense battles, this game has got some of the most satisfying combat for an RPG. Even if it's just exploration, this game will offer you a world that is so detailed and authentic that you will find yourself lost exploring different bustling towns, dark caverns, and vast wilderness. And it's not just the main quest that is interesting, the side quests are just as fun and meaningful. Now, I know the combat in this game does take a while before you get comfortable with it, but when you do, it's the most rewarding feeling ever. If you haven't played this game, you are missing out on a gem.
Let's end this.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Bastard shot my cousin! Well, he started it. I'm gonna break your neck!
When we speak of masterpieces, there's no way we can miss out on Red Dead Redemption 2. But I'm not going to go into detail because, honestly, you probably already know how amazing it is. The story, the characters, the stunning open world, everything about it screams perfection. I just wish Rockstar had paid more attention to Red Dead Online or introduced some offline DLC content. With more content, I could have played this game for so much longer. Despite that, RDR2 remains an absolute must-play. Plague Tale series.
That's enough noise.
I want to see Mummy!
Shut up! You're going to get us killed.
Plague Tale series might not be as popular as Witcher 3, but trust me, it's every bit as great as the rest of the games you will see on this list, if not more. It started with Innocence, which proved to be an unforgettable experience, full of heart-wrenching moments, tension, and even action. But it just gets a lot better with Requiem, the more recent addition to the series. If you don't know, this game is about two siblings trying to survive in a world that is plagued by swarms of infected rats, hostile soldiers, and supernatural disasters. It relies heavily on stealth, with eventual combat, especially the first game. Requiem does give you more ways to fight back, making things more intense, while still keeping the tension built up. I highly recommend you play both of these games. They are too good to miss out on.
Look out, Demetia the Amazon! Enemy ships coming!
God of War 2018.
Slow down. Your haste will cost us.
The God of War series has long remained my go-to, and well, you've got not one but two stellar choices here, God of War Ragnarok or my personal favorite, God of War 2018. Both games are absolute masterpieces, but God of War 2018 holds a special place in my heart, for very good reasons. The reboot takes a bold new direction with Kratos, diving deep into Norse mythology and also the father-son relationship, which is the highlight of the series. Speaking of highlights, you just can't deny the fact that it has also got some of the coolest combat ever. It's impactful, challenging, and a heck of a lot fun, especially with those awesome visuals that make everything look breathtaking. It Takes Two.
Wow, you're so pretty, Cody.
I know, right?
If you are looking for the best co-op game to play with your friend, wife, family, or basically anyone, It Takes Two is the perfect choice. You can never go wrong with this one. It's a game that promises to keep you hooked from start to finish with its ever-evolving gameplay, unexpected surprises, and a variety of challenging enemies. Something that I really love about this game compared to others is that it lets both of you play your parts equally, without one feeling left out and one getting all the fun. You will be solving puzzles together, fighting monsters, and tackling obstacles that stand in your way. It's a must-play for someone who loves couch co-op games. Baldur's Gate 3.
I thought maybe you could be a friend. I could have done with one of those.
You just can't deny the greatness of Baldur's Gate 3. This CRPG is a masterclass in storytelling, gameplay, character development, and pretty much everything else. But what I really love the most about Baldur's Gate 3 is the freedom of choice it gives you. Each choice you make has a direct or indirect impact on the story, as well as the characters around you. Everything in this game seems to have a meaning, the interactions feel natural, the combat feels impactful, and the best way to enjoy the game is to play it with your friends. Trust me, you will love it.
We should have had wine more often. More warming than the fire.
It's been a while since Uncharted 4 came out, but it still remains one of my favorite action-adventure games on any platform. Sure, the other Uncharted games were great, but nothing comes close to this. At least that's what I think. It does everything so amazingly, from its breathtaking set pieces to intricate puzzles and the intense combat sequences. There's a lot to praise about this game. And even when you compare it to some of the modern games out there, they pale in comparison to Uncharted 4's awesome open world, which is gorgeous and full of detail. If you haven't played this game yet, you are missing out on one heck of a gem here.
Sully, you gotta be crazy to wear a shirt like that.
Crazy handsome.
Horizon Forbidden West. Talking about the best games on PS5 and not mentioning Horizon Forbidden West, well, that would be a crime. This is a 10 out of 10 game that lets you play as Aloy, who continues her journey through this stunningly gorgeous land of wild machine creatures, breathtaking landscapes, and a plethora of secrets to uncover. The story in this game keeps getting better, making you feel connected to Aloy in a way that you will remember her long after you finish playing the game. Besides the exploration, you will have so much fun taking on these massive beasts with a wide variety of weapons and combos, mixing melee with ranged attacks. There's a lot of depth here, and it just shows how much time and effort the devs have poured in this game.
Well, yes, sort of.
Dead Space Remake. Resident Evil 4 isn't the only horror remake on this list. We also have Dead Space, which is another great option for all the horror fans out there, especially those who have played the original and would love to relive those moments with a spruced up setting. This remake brings those creepy, claustrophobic environments back to life with more detail than ever. It stays true to the original's heart-pounding horror while introducing modernized controls and new gameplay features that enhance the experience. Is it a bit too pricey? Well, yes. But other than that, this game is an absolutely must-play if you can afford it.
Clearance confirmed.
Nier Automata doesn't get the appreciation that it deserves. It's a brilliant JRPG that mixes action, role-playing elements, and thought-provoking storytelling to create this unique experience that is very rare. Even if you are not into JRPG, you will still have a great time. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where you control androids, both of which are very well created, fighting to reclaim Earth from hostile invaders. The game also offers this thrilling combat system that lets you take on the enemies with a perfect balance of melee and ranged attacks that feel incredibly satisfying. And it doesn't let you get bored. The game constantly surprises you by shifting perspectives and gameplay styles, from bullet hell sequences to side-scrolling platforming, which I came to appreciate after spending a while. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 Remake is like the ultimate horror game and a must-have on any list of the best games ever made. This remake takes the iconic 2005 classic to the next level with stunning graphics, refined controls, and enhanced gameplay mechanics, making it feel fresh and terrifying all over again. I mean, it was great as is, but man, how grateful I am to have this remake. You play as Leon, tasked with saving the president's daughter from this sinister cult. While the remake stays pretty much the same, it also adds more depth to the story, making it feel airtight and more gripping than ever. The game's horror element is also amazing, with a perfect mix of action and survival elements that keeps you on edge all the way to the end. Persona 5 Royal. Speaking of JRPG, there's another franchise which is dear to my heart. I am talking about the Persona series. It's a brilliant mix of role-playing and social simulation with equally fine combat. You play as this high schooler, living the dual life of a normal student and a monster slayer. You get to explore a dark world that is full of evil monsters, and you fight them using these personas that grant you different abilities and powers. One of the things that this series is known for is stunning art style and this electrifying interface that makes every interaction, every dialogue feel exciting. I absolutely dig Persona 5's turn-based combat. It's just the perfect amount of challenging and rewarding. And when you are not busy fighting, there's so much to do. You get to make friends, form relationships, and do a whole lot more. Spider-Man 2. I had to include at least one superhero game in this list, and while Batman Arkham Knight is my favorite, I really think Spider-Man 2 deserves this spot, and for good reasons. This sequel to the original expands on all the things that made the first one a hit. It has got some of the best web-swinging mechanics of all the Spider-Man games out there. The fluidity and speed you feel as you zip between the buildings of New York, which by the way, looks breathtaking, is unmatched, and it never gets old. The game even has a gripping story with memorable characters and villains that lets you enjoy its equally impressive and fast fast-paced combat. The other thing that I kinda enjoyed was how the game balances Peter Parker's personal life with his superhero duties, adding depth to the narrative and making you care about the characters. I have played a ton of innovative RPGs, but Disco Elysium is something different. In this game, you play as a detective with a troubled past, trying to solve a murder mystery. But it's no simple game. There are so many twists, puzzles, characters that keep you fully invested in the game. While I was playing this game, it was like the devs had thought about everything. The whole story unfolds through dialogues and the choices that you make as you uncover clues, talk to people out there, and try to connect everything together until it starts to make sense. The game's writing is also top-notch, full of wit, humor, and moments that stick with you long after you've finished the game. Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry was my first game that made me realize just how stylish combat can actually be. It's all about chaining together attacks in the most spectacular ways possible, and the game rewards you for being flashy and inventive. The story follows 3 different characters, Dante, Nero, and the mysterious V, each with their own distinct fighting styles and weapons. This variety keeps the gameplay fresh and exciting as you switch between their different abilities and combat strategies. The story is good. It does take a little back and forth to make sense of the whole thing, but Devil May Cry games have always been more focused on combat, battles, enemies, and such. It just brings back a lot of good memories, and even if you have played it already, I think it's worth replaying in 2024. Ghost of Tsushima is the latest, most perfect game out there on PS5, and trust me, all the reviews are absolutely right. The game is perfect in every aspect. The art style is what makes this game stunningly gorgeous. Every scene looks like a painting, with breathtaking landscapes, and the attention to detail is mind-blowing. But the combat in Ghost of Tsushima is on a whole other level. It's fluid, intense, and deeply satisfying. You feel every clash of swords and every perfectly timed parry. The game allows you to play how you want, whether that's charging headfirst into battle or taking a more stealthy approach as a ghost. And those horse rides, I could go on, simply praising the game's vast open world. Yakuza is like this game that many people know about but still haven't had the courage to get into, because it has so many games in the series and players often feel overwhelmed to start at all. Well, let me tell you this, you don't have to play all the games in the series to experience some of the best JRPG experience. Just start with Yakuza Like a Dragon and see what this whole crime drama RPG is all about. I've never played a game more humor-filled and serious at the same time. It's so unexpected, and there are so many things to do. You get to fight gangsters, take on side quests, play mini-games, run a business, and a whole lot more. The Last of Us series. There's a very good chance you have already played The Last of Us series, but it doesn't give me an excuse to skip on it. It's one of the most emotionally rich adventures that kind of redefines how storytelling in video games can be. You play as Joel, this guy who loses his daughter to this apocalypse and decides to help this young girl, Ellie, as they travel through this brutal, zombie-infected United States. Unlike many other post-apocalyptic games, The Last of Us series offers a perfect blend of storytelling and action. You get to fight back, either shooting at the enemies or getting up close and personal with them, or simply sneak your way around them. Even the cutscenes will keep you hooked with brilliant voice acting that make you feel every moment of the game. CyberPunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. CyberPunk 2077 is in a much better place now thanks to all the patches and updates, especially the latest expansion Phantom Liberty that simply took the gameplay, graphics, controls, and performance to the next level. It especially looks great on the next-gen console, absolutely stunning with a world that is brimming with detail and life. If you think the game was imperfect back then and not worth getting back into, I urge you to give it a shot. You will be surprised. For those who agree, let me know in the comments. Doom Eternal. I have always been a big fan of fast-paced shooters like the old-school Doom, and well, what better way to relive those heart-pumping moments than playing the game itself, or at least a modern version of it. I am talking about Doom Eternal, this epic shooter that throws you back in the shoes of this brooding demon slayer, shooting his way through the hordes of demons through hell. The gameplay here is pure, unadulterated chaos with intense gunfights, brutal melee executions, and a variety of weapons, including the infamous shotgun, that make every encounter feel impactful.